Well, obviously the 5.1 remixes and also the stereo remixes have more to offer perhaps on this batch of albums than any of the other ones we've done, just because the early albums were done very fast in the studio. We didn't get much time to sort of mix in everything like that. So you can really revisit them and explore them and separate stuff out to a much greater degree. And I think the transformation, obviously we had some restrictions on Trespass because it was recorded on an 8-track machine, so you don't have as much ability to position things as you do on the later ones. But then from Nursery Crime was a 16-track. And you can then start to spread the stuff out. And I think particularly on, well, all the albums really, but particularly I suppose those Nursery Crime and Foxtrot, you're able to kind of just suddenly find space in there that wasn't there before. And another song that to me sounds wonderful in 5.1 is Cinema Show, the first part. I just think that's the way the guitars sort of come in and out, and everything is really good. And then the voices too. There's a bit in the middle of that, which is a bit sort of Crosby, Stills and Nash, which sounds almost better than Crosby, Stills and Nash. Dare I say it? No, but it's just the way it works is lovely, and there's something you can do. I think sometimes with 5.1, one of the best things actually is the position, be able to position the guitars all over the place, because we always use quite a few of them. Normally, often on those songs, there's 3 of us playing guitar, and it does produce a wonderful sound, I think.
Well, I didn't really get involved much with the mixing. I mean, I made some comments on some of the stuff that I was involved with, and but the and I encouraged with the 5.1. I think we'd done quite a lot of work in our studio that was sort of adopting a certain approach, which is with 5.1 you have 3 speakers at the front and the 2 at the back and the sub. And a lot of people, because there are some systems out there where the 2 back speakers are throwaway and cost half as much than the ones in the front, or at least the 2 left and right, they don't want to mix it in sort of full Panavision, like widescreen 5.1 mixing, and you either are afraid of that and mix very conservatively, like enhanced stereo, or you say fuck it, let's just do it for people who have got the good systems all around and spread the stuff and really make use and take advantage of being in this sort of 3-dimensional environment, and that is the way that I prefer.
I mean, obviously, the more imaginative the music, the more depth, the more interest. I mean, obviously, 12-bar blues is going to be limited in terms of how it's improved. But when you've got this sort of spatial dimension coming in, obviously, the more interest in the music, then the more it's going to benefit from the technology, isn't it?
I think it's quite good because you go back and you've forgotten. In your mind, you have an idea of how you think about the song. But you haven't heard it for 30 years, 20 years. So actually, you go back and you kind of often reevaluate and go, well, that's really quite nice. Or you go, that's really not very good. Both are okay, I think you sort of, it's funny how you decide early on what a song is and never change it.
I think it's improved it sonically. I think the mixes have improved things because, everyone's had decades to reflect on how it could be improved. Technology is obviously much more flexible now. Could have gone further, of course, in terms of the timing and tuning and everything. Stuck everything through Auto-Tune, Melodyne and all the rest. But ours not the reason why. It's still preserved pretty much as it was. It's almost as if it's just had a bit of a dusting rather than a total facelift.
It's been interesting to hear, because I never really listen backwards unless I'm, in an interview situation or visiting someone who happens by chance to be playing it. I don't sort of look it out as a trip down memory lane. And as it's amazing how quickly you fall back into those old roles and still want different things done in different tracks. So I think probably you get different versions of all the songs if you allowed the different members of the band to do their own mix. And it's not just the more me syndrome. I think sometimes there's different sort of approaches and taste.
It's been fun to do. I mean, it's been a sort of it's a bit like writing the book. We've done that. Sort of summing up, isn't it? Writing the book, doing these mixes. You feel that your body of work is now sort of in a good space.
The earlier albums really benefit more because of the time restraint for mixing, and just the fact that if you got a good mix, it was luck. There was no computers, so you couldn't go back and fix something and gradually arrive. Everybody's hands were on the desk, and if someone had messed it up, that was the end of that. Do it again, and somebody else would mess up. So, undoubtedly, the new mixes of the old songs would be sonically better.
I find it quite hard spending a lot of time dealing in the past. Nick's done a great job, and Tony's been there an awful lot, so I sort of left them to it. Definitely the early albums have improved a lot, I think, because they were not recorded so well.
I've enjoyed the whole process. I mean, I've been there every time with every track, helping or hindering Nick, as the case may be, really. No, really just trying to give the group's point of view, because sometimes some songs end up further away than they should be, and other songs end up sounding great straight off. So revisiting these things, it's great for me, because I know a lot of these songs I hadn't heard for a long time, actually, and I had a sort of preconceived ideas about them as well. I remember particularly thinking Harlequin was a very weak song, but hearing that recently, I thought that's just a pretty good song. So it's quite nice to be able to do that and to reassess what you feel and to explore your past, really. It's kind of strange, because I've been, it's been a sort of 2-year process of going through all these things, and you're reliving your past. But you hear, as overall, one ends up being, quite proud of the stuff.